two. This isn't like when Bill does a podcast because he has so many lights and different things going on. He's a professional. We're just amateurs, Bill. I hope you'll forgive us.
I've got like
Just bear with us, Bill.
I have an IKEA light over here.
I know. What are you doing, Kurt? You're like all mysterioso. Are you ready with the music?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
You're gonna like the music tonight.
Okay, that's good. All right. John, all right, I am so tired today, let me tell you. That yard sale was... Okay. Count me down, Kurt. Count me in. 3, 2, 1. John, edit here. Hello, and welcome to Techlandia. I feel like I'm doing Jerry Seinfeld now with the hello. Hello, how are you doing? I am iPad Sammy, down in Austin, Texas. I'm really, really, really wanting to change my name over the summer and not be iPad Sammy. That's just a little 1-2 me to you. Over in Portland, Oregon, we have the First Lady of EdTech.
You will always be iPad Sammy, but I am Tedro CC, also known as Allison Anderson.
On the Twitters.
No, opposite, but yeah, somewhere.
Or as Scott Bedley likes to call Portland, the Emerald City.
I like to call it the New California. I got tan today in June. We have global warming has hit Portland in a wonderful way.
Okay, global warming, it's official now in Portland.
Climate change.
There we go. Climate change. Over in La Crosse, Wisconsin, said correctly today, we have Blue Steel.
Hey, how's everybody doing? My name is Kurt Reese, and on Twitter you can find me at Kurt Reese, CURTREES. That's me.
All right. And Kurt is promised that he will try and make the 2-hour drive over to Milwaukee. Is it a 2-hour drive over to Milwaukee this year?
I will get there. I promise. This summer it's going to happen.
Okay, Summerfest would be a good time, right? Allison, good times at Summerfest on Lake Michigan.
He'll be in Ireland during then.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
Darn it. Okay. Well,
Summerfest kicks off this summer.
Oh, it kicks off the summer. Okay.
Well, like June and 4th of July. Okay, I'll stop.
I never made it up there for Summerfest. I don't know. I was just stuck in Chicago. Today we are going over to California. It's surprising, I know, because like any of our last 17 guests have all been from California, but that's because they're all so cool and awesome. And we saved the bestest for the lastest because he is an ISTE emerged leader. He's not emerging anymore because he emerged, and now he's at ISTE. And if you see him, yeah, he's out. He's out and ready to go. It's yes. Almost like that. It's crazy. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Bill Selak.
So, you just introduced me. Thank you. So hello, I am Bill Selak, ever creatively known on Twitter as @BillSelak. And yes, I have emerged. Last year I was the ISTE emerging leader, and this year I won the KL Bitter Vision Award. So that's what happens once you have emerged.
Yeah, right. Gosh, my vision keeps declining. I keep having to go in. I think I need the LASIK eye surgery.
I think it's vision in the classroom.
Oh, vision in the classroom. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Gosh, we know I don't have that because I'm unemployed. By the way, if this is one of our last podcasts of the summer, I'm looking for a job. Anybody wants to? I'm moving to the Pacific Northwest. Anybody wants to hire me? I'm here. Thank you very much for that.
Killing the sound effects tonight.
Yeah, let's kill the sound effects. Okay, so now, Bill, all right, so I hate to disappoint you because you were going to be our last podcast before the summer.
Right.
But we just got a call on the bat phone, and there is one more podcast that's happening on Tuesday. We're going to squeeze one in because we'll keep it a secret, but it's a good buddy of Kurt Reese's. Kurt has many connections, so...
Yes, Joe Mazza. Joe Mazza will join us on Tuesday.
That wasn't a secret for very long.
No, it wasn't.
No, I guess not. I guess Kurt's going to let it out of the bag right there, so...
But I tell you what, I'm excited to talk to Bill tonight because Bill and I have been Voxer friends for months. Almost, I don't know, months.
At least 3 of those months.
At least, yes.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Bill Selak, I'm very excited to talk to you tonight. You're a fantastic educator. You love music. You're musically talented. and you have a great taste in beer, and I have learned a lot from you, my friend.
Nice. Well, thank you, good sir. I will not argue with any of those things.
You know what I think? I think it's funny. Kurt would have loved the little party we had at the Q conference with all the beer tasting.
Don't rub
Oh
it
my gosh.
in. Don't rub it in.
Oh my gosh, she would have loved that. It was great. Oh, that was so fun. Okay, well, enough of that. And Allison was supposed to be there, and
You're breaking my
make it.
heart right now.
I know. Gosh, what? I was just there all by my lonesome. Me and LS_Carl Omelet, and I like to change his name up every once in a while too. It was a fun party. Okay, so Bill, I always like to do what Craig Yen wants us to do, and so I think the first thing that we thought of on the Voxer when we were chatting this week is talking about the songwriting and how you do it with GarageBand, because I mean you sent me that Take on Me parody, and what was it called again?
It was called Click on Me. And you told me I won the internet that day.
Yes, you did. I voted you winner of the internet because it was awesome. And
nice.
I tell you what, my wife listened to it, and she was like, "Really? He's saying that?" I'm like, "I'm telling you, he's talented. He used to be in a band." So, are you still in a band?
Not so much.
Okay. But
no, it's kind of a sore spot. So thanks for bringing that up.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, I always have the way to find the sore spots and just like pick at them and fester at them. So, I thought that was awesome, and you do that all the time, and so a lot of people are wanting to know about GarageBand. I know Allison Anderson wants to know about GarageBand. I know Kurt wants to know. So why don't you go ahead and give us like your overall summary for how you go about your creative process. I know that Diane Main has that same kind of wacky, you Californians with your wacky songs, but they're awesome, and so tell us about it.
Yeah, so let me actually take you back to the beginning, if I may, with how it started. So I was teaching second grade for a while in my district, Covina Valley Unified, and then kindergarten, and then got a call that said, "Hey, Bill, you're teaching elementary music." And I said, "Great. I play guitar, I play bass, can kind of play keyboard. What do you need?" And they said, "Yeah, you're going to play, flute, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, saxophone, none of which I had ever played, and actually none of which I'd ever even touched." So it was, like, all right, how do I take all this musical stuff I know and like bring it into a 4th and 5th grade classroom? And in addition to that, I would teach general music in the morning, and so we have some low end going. You guys hearing that music too?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Foo Fighters.
That is Foo Fighters. I'm working on a parody actually of that.
Pay attention, Bill. This isn't just Foo Fighters. This is like Bill Fighters right here.
Oh, yeah? Awesome. So anyway, like every once in a while we just kind of go with kind of whatever lesson. This was when I was starting to kind of break away from here's what I'm doing and I will turn the page and teach the next lesson on the next day. And some kids are like, "Hey, I wrote a song. Can we sing it?" I was like, "Sure." And he's like, "I think we need to record the song." I said, "Let's do it. What's it called?" Keep in mind he's a 10-year-old 4th grade boy, and he was kind of the awkward, like slightly overweight boy that like really liked school, and it wasn't cool in 4th grade to really like school. And he's like, "The name of my song," kind of like, yeah, basically like iPad Sammy, but 10. He was like, "The name of my song is Love is a Painful Thing." All right, well, that's awesome. So I'm throwing all my lesson plans out, and we're recording this song. And I said, "Well, like, do you kind of know how it goes?" They're like, "Oh yeah, for sure." It's like, "All right, how does it go?" And he sings the whole thing a cappella to the whole classroom, and totally just like goes for it, and just kind of stood up where he was and belted it out. I'm like, "All right, so let's record that," and we did that. And then I was like, "All right, you're 10, so you guys have no idea like what you're singing. So what else is a painful thing?" So I'm doing like homework's a painful thing, chores are a painful thing, and then we all kind of got that bug, and it just snowballed, and it became, all right, what's the next thing we're gonna write about? And I thought at some point maybe we should be writing songs that kind of fit the content areas and the things we're teaching, and then realize this whole STEM thing and then STEAM, right? You with me on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's start writing some songs about that. And so the workflow, and I think what you guys are actually interested in now that you kind of know how it came about, quite accidentally. It wasn't like I had this grand vision of music in the classroom. We come up with a plan. We're like, all right, what are we going to write about? Tell me the content. So like, all right, let's do rock cycle. All right, so what style? Well, that's an easy one. It's going to be a rock song. All right, so like let's pick a tempo. Well, rock song's going to be kind of faster. It's probably going to be in the major key, kind of happy, not minor or sad. And then we'll either find some kind of loop. Like GarageBand has not so good with numbers, like 20 million loops, maybe 20 billion loops. They have a lot of loops, like more than you can ever imagine. So a student will just raise their hand and say, "Let's have guitar." So I'll click on guitar and we'll just listen to like 100 guitars. And after about 10, they kind of give up and just vote for one or say, "No, let's go for flute." And once we find that first sound, we throw that in, loop that, and then depending on what it is, we'll usually add drums next, get a feel for the song, and then I'll usually plug in just a little MIDI keyboard, a little 2-octave keyboard, and it's awesome. You plug it in your GarageBand and it says, "It looks like you have a keyboard. Would you like to use the keyboard?" And you click yes, and then whatever you play on the piano keyboard is whatever instrument it is. So I could go to click a bass guitar, and then I'm playing on my piano keyboard, and a bass guitar is playing. Or I could click on saxophone, and saxophone's playing. And you can change it after the fact, which is awesome. So you could like play a saxophone and be like, "Yeah, that sucks. Let's make it a synthesizer," and then it can be. So we slowly just kind of build it on that. So it's usually either synthesizer or guitar first, then drums, and then I'll often play a bass line because I play bass pretty well. So I know kind of how to fit the drums they pick with the kind of lead guitar or whatever that we do, and then talk about song form, extend it so it's not just like a little 10-second loop, but it's like a 2-minute song. Then write a melody, add lyrics, and with second grade, I'm teaching second grade right now. This will take like a month to do. Every couple days we'll do like half an hour of it. But when I was doing elementary music, it was all right. We get like the music in 1 week, melody in the next week, record it the week after that, and kind of polish everything up. So I was doing the whole song in a month. So I saw them once a week. So in 4 sessions, that's how I did it with those 4th and 5th graders.
So you would kind of project that up on the screen, and they'd all be watching. Exactly,
yeah. And we sit at a whole class. We're not remotely one-to-one. I'm one laptop for one classroom, so that kind of counts as one-to-one. That's as close as I've been. Yeah.
We have one.
Exactly. So we would just do it all whole class, and when we're listening to those 100 different guitar sounds, they just voted by raising their hand. It was very low tech. If you have an idea, raise your hand. So everyone just like a force, like a school of fish, just kind of would go left, and now suddenly we're having a flute as our main instrument. So it's interesting. It's kind of captured the personalities of each class, I think, pretty well. So, and that's the basic workflow.
That's amazing. I mean, that's amazing. Hey, Bill is really good with movie quotes. Okay, ready? So you're talking about the bass? Yes. Hey, Bill, do you slap at the bass? Do you slap at the bass, man? I'm slapping the bass. What movie is that from?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Bill's usually.
I've heard it.
Okay.
I'm usually right on it.
That's Paul Rudd. Does Paul Rudd help?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's from that Paul Rudd movie.
I Love You, Man. Yes, I love you.
That's seriously.
That's right.
That's an underrated, underappreciated movie. Very, 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 very funny.
Don't you think, Kurt, though, don't you think in our Voxers that Bill is like always, he's right on top of the movie quotes all the time?
If it's Top Gun, Bill.
It's Top Gun especially.
Absolutely. I would like it duly noted, by the way, that I walked down the aisle at the end of my wedding to the Top Gun anthem played live. And it was my wife's idea.
Very
Whoa.
Nice. Yeah. Right. Okay, so Bill, we had last week at my school, one of the pilots from the Blue Angels crew came and did an assembly for my school.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude looked exactly like Iceman from Top Gun. Yeah, he did. And I mean, seriously, like good-looking Val Kilmer, mid-'80s.
Not present-day Val Kilmer, right? Because I kind of look like present-day Val Kilmer.
I'm now following the Blue Angels pilot on Twitter.
Yeah, Allison actually jumped off the show and followed after she heard the description.
Dusty Lee Cook, I'm serious. There were like people saying, "Hey, would you like to take your shirt off and go play volleyball?" This is the guy right there.
Right. Awesome. Did he do the teeth thing where he would?
No, the dude. Yeah, he had it. Yeah, he had it all going on. The teeth.
Oh my gosh.
If you're gonna hire, and I think I said this last week, if you're just gonna go like do Southern Cal casting for a pilot, Dusty Lee Cook is your guy right there. Anyway,
Okay.
so I only bring it up just because Bill is a Top Gun fan, as am I. So
As
I
are
appreciate
most
the taste.
people.
Yeah, who's not? If you don't like Top Gun, get out of America. Go to wherever it is you want to go. Samoa. If you don't have
You've lost that love and feeling. Get out of here.
Get out.
Oh, that's funny.
If Goose doesn't make you cry, you're
Bill,
cold-hearted.
I would like you to go ahead and since you know that every great educator has to have a great spouse, wife, husband behind them. Why don't you go ahead and plug your wife on the Twitters? Because I followed her at the Q conference and then she followed me back. So she's a member of Team Follow Back.
Yes, she is. So she actually teaches high school. She runs the International Baccalaureate program. Her name is Isabel Selak, and she is, again, creatively named at Isabel Selak. Spelled the French way, Isabelle. But I guess that's Kurt's job to spell, so sorry about that.
Right. That's okay.
All right. Isabel Selak, Isabelleselak. And just like Bill Selak, a very attractive person.
Yes.
Kurt, you seem is Keely around today, or is she already in Ireland?
No, my wife right now would be over the Atlantic Ocean on the way to London Heathrow Airport, and sometime tomorrow we'll be in Shannon, Ireland.
Okay, that might explain some of your commentary. You seem to be calling everyone attractive tonight. I mean, I don't know.
You know what? Love is in the air. And my wife is out of town.
You
so
are bringing your children to Ireland on your own.
Me?
Yeah.
No, God, no, I could never handle that. My talented wife is bringing the kids to Ireland on her own.
Oh, so the kids and Keely are they with her now?
Okay, so Bill has young children, 3 and less than 1. My kids are like 12 and 8. That's like the perfect age. They can take care of themselves, almost. They can't drive or get a job, but other than that, they're pretty good.
You don't want your kids to drive, trust me. It's stressful.
No, I don't. I do worry about that.
Okay, we're digressing.
You guys have so digressed, but Bill is just, what is going on here? But
this is new for Techlandia?
Bill's like yes. Okay, but I was going to ask Bill. So, what are some of the more memorable songs that you've created with them? Do any with your classes? Do any of them like really stick out as ones where you're like, that was pretty darn awesome? And do you post them all on SoundCloud, or what do you do with them after you have the finished product?
All right, let me interrupt. Bill Selak. On SoundCloud, one of my favorites is the Class Dojo song that his class has done.
Yeah.
But if you do go to SoundCloud/Bill Selak, you'll find a lot of his work there. And the Foo Fighter sounding song that I played earlier, I'm assuming that is a Bill Selak recreation of.
Yeah, we're working on it slowly but surely.
Yeah. So lots of good Bill Selak originals. Or recreations, I should say.
Yes. Yeah, so Class Dojo's original song, that was the first day of school. You guys know how on the first day of school you can kind of do anything you want?
Yes.
So I was like, all right, second graders, you've been in second grade for a day, let's write a song. What do you want to write it about? And like the first 5 suggestions are like, Class Dojo, because they loved it. So I said, all right, let's do it. So, we spent like a month working on the song, and then about another month working on the music video. So
nice.
It was great. Actually, at Q in Palm Springs, I went to the Class Dojo party, talked with those guys, and talked them into making a little video for my students. So they're like, hello, Room 7 students, we love your song. And then the guy's like, yes, because I think they're both British in my head. We listen to it every day when we're in the office. It's brilliant, and we love your song, so thank you for making it. And then, like my 7-year-old second graders are like, they made a song, they wrote a video, they talked to, that's for us. So that was absolutely awesome. The most recent one we did, Never Eat Soggy Waffles. Right?
Nice.
Or,
Like
as you know, northeast,
southwest.
And then
the cardinal directions.
You know it, because my students were just not doing well at that. So I said, you know what, that's it. We're gonna write a song about it. And we did, and actually the video is my favorite part. So we took, what is that app with all the special effects? Where like the ball will drop on you, the bad robot.
Yeah.
One?
Oh, like Action Movie FX.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I like that. Very, very, very nice.
Yeah. So we went through all of that and then came up with all the different scenes we would do and had a story of, you know, this new student who didn't know how to get to the school, and he's like, where's my new classroom? And so we just took him on a crazy tour all throughout, and there's like a sinkhole and there's a flood, and that's how you get the soggy waffles from the flood, and on and on and on. So we used like half of the special effects from action movie effects. So that was a good time for sure.
Right. Yeah. In your song Class Dojo, there's some pretty nice bass lines in there. Did you play that, or was that GarageBand, or your synthesizer?
Yeah, that was so the synthesizer played like the main lines, and then I played the bass to fit it. So
I feel like the Class Dojo guys should be eating that up, like
Yeah, and Bill was talking to him, and at Q I was there too. I mean, he was talking to him.
They could not be so lucky to have a second grade class write a song about them. They should be blowing that up.
Yeah, and we actually it was a great time. We asked for permission to use some of their video footage.
Yeah.
When we made our music video, they're like, yeah, of course. You know, we can talk about you know, like not just stealing content off the internets. So that was fun too.
Nobody does that.
No.
I was going to say, so this always brings up an interesting question I think that people like to know about. So on your video channel, is it your personal video channel, or do you have a classroom video channel as well? And how does your school district work with the whole YouTube blocking kind of thing going on?
Well, you asked like 5 questions, so I remembered the last 2. I'll answer the last 2.
Okay, yeah, just answer whatever one you want. And people ignore me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I tend to put stuff I made in my classroom on my class YouTube page. So this year our school went and gave Google Apps for Education, for those of you playing along at home. And so because of a Google account, you have a YouTube channel that goes along with that. So everything we've done this past year that's been video, I've posted to my 2nd grade Mr. Selak channel. The last 4 years before that, I just created a Google account for my elementary music. We called it K5 Tunes. So all the tutorials and music videos we did went up to youtube.com/K5Tunes. And a few of the greatest hits I put up just on my personal one. So that's kind of how I parsed that out. YouTube had been blocked, and I think I griped enough, and a couple people griped enough, and they realized, hey, YouTube's actually useful in the classroom. And they just completely opened it up. So the last year has been absolutely fantastic for that.
Oh, nice. Isn't that rewarding when you gripe enough, and then they're like, okay, we agree, and then they just open it up, and you're like a hero.
Yeah, and I got a good amount of buzz going with the elementary music tutorials. It was like, hey, here's how to hold the flute. Here's your first note on the flute. They're pretty solid, like the first 3 months of whatever instrument it was, and I posted those to SchoolTube, which is never blocked, but then also to YouTube. And so I think they were seeing a lot of the value in that, and then embedded the SchoolTube into our website. So I think that actually made some difference. It's pretty cool.
I feel the need, not
the need for speed.
All right, one of my favorite Southern California bands is Blink-182. I've seen them in concert several different times. And here's Bill Selak doing a riff on What's My Age Again, except it's What's My Page Again. And you can hear his... it is seriously, seriously fantastic. Okay, so here it is.
I want my own website, I write alone. This doesn't help my plight. I started freaking out and realized my need. I need website technology. And that's about the time I opened Safari.
Is this guy not talented?
That's
This
awesome.
is awesome.
Okay.
That was fun.
So yeah, I'm like a major fanboy. It's starting to feel like Amber Tiemann or Elizabeth Gould is in the house again. Bill Selak, you are on the Mount Rushmore of the people I admire.
Wow, thank you, thank you. One thing I actually do want to point out with all those different parodies is that I record the whole thing. I know a lot of folks will just throw in like the karaoke track, which is totally awesome and fine and would save me so much time. But my undergrad is in music and I studied sound design, so I figured if I can record it, my first big job was working in a recording studio that I need to kind of record it. So it's always a challenge for me, and it's fun, and it keeps the music going in my life to try and match the tones and going back and forth. Like, does that guitar sound right? no, and it sucks. And then a month later, it sounds great. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to do my session that goes along with this at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's
Talented
pretty awesome.
dude you are, Bill.
yes.
All right, now, Bill, you're not afraid to take risks, obviously. So I would like you to talk about and just taking risks in the classroom, and what are some things that you're doing right now that you think are kind of like they could fail, they could succeed, but you're going to try it anyway because kids like it.
So the latest thing that really got me going is that every single, not just some, every single student in my class loves Minecraft. Do you guys get that now?
Yes.
It's crazy. So I thought, all right, I need to figure out how to leverage Minecraft in the classroom somehow. I know nothing about it other than it looks like it's kind of lo-fi and every kid loves it. So I just picked a content area that seemed to would kind of fit. I'm like, all right, math, let's do this. And the first few lessons just sucked. They were so bad. And, I mean, the kids loved it, but they we weren't making the connection with the math and the Minecraft. It was just like Minecraft, and I was like, wait, how do you do this? And we're kind of caught up in the minutia of like, how do you build a block? How do you knock down a block? Oh wait, I picked survival mode. Now we're getting attacked, and now we died. So let's start that lesson again. That doesn't often happen in a math lesson, but slowly but surely, kind of figured out that all right, we have to know arrays, which is like a 3x4 grid. That's perfect for Minecraft. So we'll get 2 iPads, and end up working actually best with the iPads, even though I had a couple different laptops with Minecraft EDU set up, just because iPads just worked right away, and it was low tech enough. Funny that iPads mirroring that my Apple TV is low tech, but it was. You didn't have to start the server and get it going, and I don't know. It just ended up being kind of a hassle with loading worlds. Just iPads go, and the arrays one went really well, and so a couple students that had the most class dojo points would get to play and build something, and everyone else was on pencil and paper, and I was up on the whiteboard, and we'd all kind of draw the same math problem. So we'd all draw 12 blocks, 3x4 and 4x3, and do the multiplication, do the math, and at some point I ended up getting some really cool lessons. And the bigger picture for me was that if you came into my classroom and just saw that final lesson, you'd be like, this is amazing, and it ended up being amazing. But there were so many lessons that were good, then okay, and before that was kind of mediocre, and before that just weren't good lessons at all. And I think that that's not only okay, I think that that's a good thing. If we're going to actually get this thing we call innovation in the classroom and move away from just do the math worksheet. If you talk, you get in trouble, and you lose a dojo point. If we're going to get away from that we need to be willing to take risks and just say, you know what? And LeVar Burton, actually, Daniel Q said something almost similarly, and at this point I think I have the quote memorized. He said, you know what? I don't understand this thing, but let's figure it out together. And it was right when I just made the jump into Minecraft. I was like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. So, I found a couple of different ways of kind of regrouping, the green block's worth 1, and the red block's worth 10, and the blue blocks are worth 100. And then regroup with that, and some of those took a long time. We ended up actually building 100 blocks, and we're just sitting there with one student's just tapping 100 blocks. So sometimes it didn't work, but other times it worked, and other times it was absolutely amazing. And whenever we just kind of stuck it out, and I really was able to figure out how to teach this one math idea in Minecraft, students absolutely got it. So I think that if we're not only willing to take these risks, to step away from Minecraft for a second, but being able to share the idea of, hey, here's something I'm trying, because I know that I'm guilty of it on Twitter. You only share the super cool things,
Yeah.
and you don't
Yeah,
share
you don't say, man, today was horrible.
Yeah.
That typically does not go over the social media.
Hey, I tried doing this new thing with Minecraft and it sucked. But if someone saw that and then a week later, hey, I did this thing in Minecraft and it kind of worked, and then 2 months later, killer lesson in Minecraft, read the blog posts, then it makes sense, because it's not like we're doing all these amazing things out of nowhere. It's all these iterations. So that's been definitely something that's been on my mind, especially the last 6 months of school.
So how do you frame that with your kids then? So they're going home that day, and what's the message you want them to take home about Minecraft? So they go home, hey, what'd you guys do today? Oh, we played Minecraft. I mean, do you plant anything in their mind so that they understand exactly what they were doing in terms of mathematical concepts?
Yes, but not always. Sometimes it ended up being parents are like, "So I heard you played Minecraft." I was like, "Yeah, we were trying regrouping." So one of the things I learned pretty quickly was always making sure, hey, we're going to focus on regrouping, or we're going to add two-digit numbers, and being more formal than I normally would be with saying, here is our objective for the day, which good teaching does, but I kind of ignore because I don't know, they're 7. But I think if you kind of frame that a little bit ahead of time, then when they kind of get away from it, and there's like, oh, let's build that. Oh, can we get creepers? Which I still barely understand. It's like, wait, let's hang on. Let's get back. Let's talk about actually why we have Minecraft. We're not doing Minecraft to play Minecraft, and kind of refocusing, keeping, here's the box we're in. Let's focus on this lesson. So that's been really helpful. But yeah, I made a lot of mistakes along the way with that for sure.
I think that's one of the things that when I talk to when we chat on the Vox or whatever, and we talk to Carl Lindgren Omelet, he's always a big proponent of people just even like if they do blog or whatever, or teachers blog, that they do actually say that this was kind of a struggle for me in the beginning, and I think if we were a little bit more transparent like that and said, this is what happens, instead of just sharing like awesome things all the time, that it might help out people, because I always was the person that would be like, oh, okay, we want to make these, a teacher that I worked with wanted to do something in the computer lab, and she's like, oh, well, I don't know if it's set up for that, and I'd always be the person to be like, I'll try that, I'll go in and see what the problems will be first, and then I'll tell you all the problems that I had, and then you can avoid all those problems and have a better lesson with your class. And I never really minded doing that, and you'd be like, oh yeah, we can't, do this, and I always kind of went in there because I don't know, I like being the underdog fighter. I'm rooting for the Spurs, much to Kurt's chagrin, so.
But to do that for your peers, that's great. But to model that for your students, because if you haven't seen that it's okay to fail, by the time you get in 6th or 7th grade, you're so completely paralyzed to make a mistake, and it's hard to change it. Yes, exactly. But just to throw a question out to a bunch of 7th or 8th graders and say, "What do you think?" and have them all stare at you and just in their eyes you can see it. They're just so afraid to say the wrong answer. So how do you change that? You start in 2nd grade by having a teacher who's like, let's try this. Oh, this didn't work out. Oh well, let's try it again tomorrow.
We'll try it again tomorrow. Yeah. We'll try and do a better job.
And I think I think that's the fail forward message. I don't know who put that in our doc tonight.
Well, it's Bill's hashtag, but I love it. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so actually that started from a Voxer conversation, one of the giant Voxer groups, and Victoria Olsen on the Twitters as Ms. Victoria Olsen. She's awesome. Canadian, eh? Yeah.
She's awesome.
She and I kind of started talking about it, and we're like, all right, how do we get this idea of we're doing cool stuff, but it doesn't start off as this really nice polished thing, and ended up after a while calling it EdFailForward. So the hashtag is EdFailForward, and just. And
I think when students know that that's your attitude, they come to your classroom, and I was kind of a special where I was the computer lab, and that's where they would come to be like, I don't know how to do this. Let's just try it, and it took a while, but I just want kids to be able to do that. As much as teachers, it's the kids that really have to just be like, oh, I just totally screwed that up, and I'm okay. I'm going to go home and be fine with it and come back tomorrow and try it again.
Yeah, I think it was Rushton Hurley. I don't think. I know it was Rushton Hurley. I've heard him say it more than once. Talked about sometimes it's okay to fail in front of students, and it's just modeling the graceful failure. So, even just trying to plug something into the projector. If it doesn't work, are you going to, filth, flarn, filth? Or are you going to say, you know what? That didn't work.
That's when you asked that one kid in 8th grade that totally, I can't figure this out. Come on. Will you do it for me?
And I do have to point out, were you quoting Foghorn Leghorn there, Bill?
I might have been. I don't know where that came from.
You said Phil Flarn. No, Bill Cosby. That's Bill Cosby.
Is that okay?
Yeah, Filth, Flarn, Flarn, and Filth.
Nice.
Oh, I thought it was Goose from Top Gun.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, married to Meg Ryan. But okay, so when you went, now is the hashtag like it says in there? So it was a large group, and you and Victoria and yourself came up with it, and you said, okay, we're going to do EdFail, and is it FWD or is it the whole word
It's
forward?
ED. Well, sorry, Kurt. I know you're the speller. EDFAILFWD.
Okay.
So forward,
Ding,
like
ding,
on
correct.
like
Yes,
on your
you are correct.
cassette.
I think you should have like a specific chat time for that. I think we should have an
Yeah,
EdFail
it's
forward.
Tuesday mornings at 11:30 a.m. Or not.
I mean,
It's a hacker.
if you wanted to fail, I think you just have it Sunday night at like 3 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Perfect.
Yeah,
And
let's
talk
have it in.
But try. And, I think back. Okay, so this is my third year as being a teacher. I was teaching third grade, Alhambra Elementary in Illinois, and my principal at the time, Dr. Ron Bishop, he laid out some new idea he had during a staff meeting, and it was horrible. No one liked it. People were mad. They were just upset about the whole thing. And then I remember running into him in the office later that afternoon. And he's like, "Well, that sure as hell didn't work, did it?" And it was just fantastic for me to hear that. Like, that didn't work. And he wasn't mad. He just chuckled, and he just thought, "All right, here we go. We're going to try something else." And I just it really stands out to me. So, Dr. Bishop, thank you for the lessons in life that you provided me.
There you go. That's good.
I love that.
Me too.
Before we move on, why don't we go to before we go to number 3 on your doc, Bill? Why don't we go to the Twitter users to follow, since it looks like there's 5 of them tonight, and then we'll go to your last item.
Yeah, for sure. So the first one I would like to shout out, Paige Christensen. So she is at Paige Christensen. Kurt, you want to give us a spelling?
Yes, Paige, P-A-G-E, Christensen, C-H-R-I-S-T-E-N-S-E-N, the traditional Swedish spelling of Christensen.
Yeah, good. So now that I've insulted every Swedish, so she's actually the one that first got me connected with professional ed tech organizations. So our ISTE affiliate is Q, and she was like, "Hey, you're doing some cool stuff. Like, have you ever thought about like going to the Q conference?" And I said, "What's a Q conference?" And she was like, "It's like a conference that you go to, and it's for technology." And I was like, "No way, these things exist." So she's the one that led me in that direction, and it's been all downhill from there. She's not big on the Twitters, but the stuff she does with our class, with our school, with the students is just absolutely amazing. She's one of those people where like you see her 5 seconds with a student, and you're like, this person cares so much about education. So she's a good person, and like jumps on the Twitters occasionally when she's like at the Q conference, and yeah, so follow her. She's a good follow. She's a good person.
Okay, that sounds good. I just did.
Me too.
I'm clicking. I'm pulling in Allison from the fighter pilot Chippendales that went to Kurt's school. Go ahead and give us your second person then.
All right.
I was following this person.
Awesome. So up next is Stephen Davis. He is at Rush the Iceberg. Do we need a spelling on that one?
Rush the Iceberg. You can spell, people. Figure it out.
Spelled this out.
Spelled like Rush Limbaugh.
Spelled actually like Rush the Band.
Oh yeah, like Rush the Band from the same movie that we were just talking about.
Yeah. So that's actually what it is. So he takes amazing photos in addition to being a middle school English teacher. One of those guys who are just like, you get to know him, the more you get to know him, the cooler he is. He has a couple young kids too, so he's not at all the conferences and on Twitter all the time, but he's the one that really got me hooked into not Instagram. I was already on Instagram, on Hipstamatic, and was sharing out some of the combinations, just some of those photos you see of his. You're like, dude, you took this on your phone? Are you kidding me? Like, how many hours did you spend editing it? Are you like Magrella Canella? And he's like, no, this was just Hipstamatic. It's completely like, you take the photo and it's a destructive edit. There is no edit. Just, it's your combo. So he shared a few combos with me and definitely got me hooked into the Hipstamatic. Also a really great guy, and does some really cool stuff with his students.
Bill, that reminds me of the conversation we had at Q. Tell us a little bit about, let's digress for a moment and go in. Tell us about how you got into, because you have a great Instagram feed too. Tell us about, just like, if you can, give us a summary of how you got started and your picture a day kind of thing that you really kind of honed your craft, and now your pictures are awesome.
Awesome, thanks. I'm glad you think so.
I do.
Nice. So actually, the photo a day project came from an awkward conversation at a birthday party where you have like that friend-in-law who you happen to be at the pizza place with, and you're like, I know nothing about you. So what do you do? And he's like, well, I do this. And you're like, all right, well, that's kind of boring. What else do you do? He's like, well, I used to be a professional photographer. And I was like, awesome. Talk to me. I love photography. I have a new SLR. Back when it was made of film. When it had film, the camera body wasn't made of film, and he told me a little bit about it. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! I really want to get better at photography. What do you have for me?" Because when people ask me as a musician, they're like playing guitar, how do I get better at guitar? I have like that one little trick. Like it's all about your right hand. Like if your rhythm's on, everything else is solid. So I was looking for that little like gold tip. By the way, that's a really good tip for guitar. And he had nothing for me. He's like, I don't know, take a lot of pictures. I was like, well, yeah, but I don't know. I was reading a book. I'm like, f-stop this and that, and he was like, just take a lot of pictures. I don't know, like take one every day and you'll get better. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. So that week I actually started my first photo a day project, and I committed no matter what. And this was before iPhones, I think, or like back when they were super expensive and like I'll never need a smartphone. So I bought a camera and kept it in my pocket all the time, and then connected it to my laptop and did that. Ended up doing for 3 years straight, and then took a little bit of time off. Then did a 4th year using only the app Instagram. So I did my Instagram a day, and that made a huge difference. And I saw so many parallels between like making videos, taking photos, and creating music with just the whole like notion of creativity, and it really hit me when it was like 10:30 at night and I was about to fall asleep. I haven't taken my photo a day, and you're looking around. It's like the last thing I want to do is take a really cool, awesome picture, and so it's forcing yourself to be creative when you otherwise aren't at all. And I think I learned so much about what that means through that photo day project.
That's cool. And was it Ruben Hoffman and you? Did you guys do the Q photo walk this year?
That was actually with the David Terrio.
Oh, it was the David Terrio. No, all right. So this brings us to our question that we ask all California people: what's wrong with David Terrio?
Yeah.
There's so much you can't even go into it, right? I mean, where to start with this? I don't know. Someday we'll get to the bottom of the David Terrio story. I don't know. We have had him on the show. Maybe we need to have him on again and say that's how we'll start the show. David, what's wrong with you? And he would do. You know what? It would be so entertaining. I'm telling you, it would be great. Yeah, I love that story that you told me. And you're just like, you just said take a lot of pictures, and then you just started going crazy. And I think that's an awesome. I remember you telling me the story that you're like, okay, I didn't know anybody at this party, so I just talked to him, and that's what he gave me. And there,
Yep.
and so you just see. I love that. But I love how you just take it and you just like run with it then. And it's like, I feel like with you, you're always trying to, improve, and like your stories they're just always about like you're always trying to learn. And I feel like that's the way all of Kurt and Allison and I are. We try to always learn, and that I think that might be one of the keys to like trying to keep going in the teaching profession. Sometimes there's things that get you down, but always try and learn stuff. And,
all right, Chromebook, Sammy.
Yeah.
John, that is like the perfect segue into one of the things I wanted to share tonight.
Oh, okay.
That is this book, Leading in a Culture of Change. This thing was written in 2001, but it's an assignment for one of my grad classes I'm taking right now. And what you're talking about right there, just so making information become knowledge is like a key point of this book, especially for leadership. And that is taking these little bits of information and making it something meaningful. And that is so incredibly important for leaders. And that's exactly what you're talking about right there. So thank you very much. And again, Michael Fullen is the author of the book. and it's Leading in a Culture of Change. I bought this book for 1 cent, and it cost me $3.99 to ship it from the Amazon. But even though it's a little bit dated in terms of books, it's a fantastic read. 138 pages of goodness. So anyone who's interested in leadership, especially if you're a school principal, administrator, you must read this book. It's fantastic.
Okay. You're not an Amazon Prime member, Kurt?
I was. $80 just seemed a little steep for me.
Okay, I have to say, I was thinking about I was talking with Greg Garner a little bit about this, and I was just talking about subscriptions. The key subscriptions for like a summer, you just finished school, you want some downtime. I think Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Spotify, and you're good for Spotify. You can download the playlist for offline use. You have like a whole catalog of everything. And then what I like about Amazon Prime is right now I'm watching The Wire. And so I'm rewatching The Wire, and you can't get that on Netflix. And I love The Wire. I just kept thinking as I'm watching like the first 5 episodes of The Wire, I'm like, you know what? McNulty is like. I started looking at like education parallels. I'm like, McNulty's that pain in the butt, but he's really trying to do what's right, but all the system is keeping him down. I'm like, it's like education. It's like The Wire. I love the season that they're in the Baltimore schools too. I will have to work my way up to that one. I think that's season 4. But I think Amazon Prime's got some other things that are going for it. So I digress, but you get free 2-day shipping besides that. So
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. All right. So sorry to interrupt you with that one, Bill, but I think your photo story was I remember that's one of the conversations I remember the most from Q is when we talked about that. So go ahead and give us your 3rd Twitter user to follow.
Yes. So I'm actually going to cheat and do 3 and 4.
Okay.
We talk about my wife a little bit, and I'm not sure if she's going to be stoked or angry, but I think you need to follow her because she has some awesome ideas. And I think we already spelled her at Isabel Selak. She does. She also runs the library as in addition to doing International Baccalaureate, the entire school-wide program, which is, if you don't know, it's like AP, only it's international. And she does some freaking cool stuff. Just the posters she makes alone. I kind of think about it. Like I have my little edu parodies where I have a song I like and then tweak it to make it. She does that with super cool posters. Like she'll find an idea of a poster and then throw that in InDesign and just like knock it out, print it at Costco, which is by far the coolest way and cheapest way to get just killer prints. And they're up all over her school. So
that's cool.
She's doing super cool stuff with that.
She's awesome at InDesign. See, that alone is awesome.
Yeah, she also has a master's in ed tech, and InDesign was one of the classes, and she still uses it, and she's awesome with it.
That's cool.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's for sure good stuff.
We want to see Allison doing that in her new library position, don't we, Allison? We want to see that. Okay.
I'm trying to get there. I have to learn the Dewey Decimal System.
All right, go ahead, and then
nice, and then my bonus, my 4th one is Jerry Coates. She's a Google certified teacher. I tend to see her like at Fall Q, and when I was looking at the users to follow under 2,000 followers, and like all the things in the Google Doc, I was like, and looking through different comments and the type of person that just like, I'll tweet something out in here like, oh, congratulations on that. Just the person where you're like, I'm stoked that this person, is someone I know on Twitter. She's one of those people. You're just like, you don't see her that often on the Twitters, but when she's on, she's cool. She's super supportive. Shares out some really cool stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was happy to know I was already following Jerry, and you can find her on Twitter at Jerry Geri Coates, Coats.
Very good. All right, Kurt, that leads into you.
All right. The Twitter user I would like you to check out is Mr. Rod Broadhead. And on Twitter, you can find him at RBHEAD. He's an elementary administrator. I think he's an associate principal and Title I coordinator, which is a job that I used to hold.
Ooh.
And he's in the state of Utah. And he's also a BYU fan. We'll forgive him for that. But Rod Broadhead, good guy. I've connected with him on Boxer here lately. And nice guy, asks some great questions, and I just enjoy speaking with him. Rod Broadhead.
There we go. Very good. I saw Allison added one in, too. Good way to go,
Allison.
Allison.
Of our conversation, it is Lucy Yandel, who is our music teacher, at the school I was at 2 years ago, and she reminds me a lot of Paige Christian, where she does just incredible things in the classroom. Is not big on Twitter or social media, so you would never really know about it, but the things she does with kids, she has a middle school choir that kids are like tripping over themselves to try and audition and get in, and she takes them all over the city, and these are kids who don't have a lot in general, and she just basically gives up a lot of her life to make sure that these kids have a great experience. So she is LAMYANDLE, Lucy Yandle on Twitter.
Holy cow, everybody's
She has 9 followers, but she doesn't do a lot on Twitter.
No, yeah, she has 3 tweets, so get in now.
I think if a bunch of people followed her, that'd freak her out.
The return on investment is really, really high right now. So get in on Lucy Yandle.
That's funny.
Okay.
I was going to ask Bill real quick. I don't know if you've seen this one. Bill, we put it up recently. Did you happen to see when we talked, or do you know Janine Letford from California? The music teacher?
You're muted right now, Bill.
Bill muted himself.
I'm that. All right, better. So I was doing some typing.
That's okay.
That's what I get.
That's very nice protocol right there. Thank you.
That's what I get for being considerate.
No,
Yes.
we love that.
I met her at Ed Camp LA, and Scott Bedley actually introduced me to her. And he's like, "You guys need to talk."
Good.
I was like, "All right, let's talk." And yeah, she's doing some really cool stuff with music. So.
Yeah, she was really a treat when we talked to her. I thought she was. You know that she was on the Oprah Winfrey show. Allison, how many times can I screw this? How many times can I screw this up? No, she was on the So
Dr.
she was actually on the Queen Latifah show, and she competed, and then she won this contest, and then she went to the Grammys, I think. Afterwards, I was like, oh my gosh, how do you rate Janine Letford? Okay, so
speaking of awesome people, no. I heard Bill had mentioned, one of you guys mentioned Reuben Hoffman. And just seeing the Google Teacher Academy nominees, recipients, whatever they are. So some really great people to mention who are headed off to GTA this summer. Todd Norton, he's one of my doctoral cohort mates.
Hey, Kurt, I want to just stop you right now. Is Todd Norton and then the other Todd Norton in the doc? So Todd Norton's so nice you had to put him in the doc twice on that one? You have Todd Norton, Reuben Hoffman, and Todd Norton.
It's him. Yeah, it's Todd Norton and his twin.
So Todd, he's double
Norton.
excited about you.
Yeah, he is. Todd Norton. And on the Twitter, he's Todd Norton. But Reuben Hoffman, who was just with us last week, he's off to Google Teacher Academy too.
That Reuben.
And Techlandia cast, or Techlandia guest, Sarah Thomas, Michelle Cordy.
Uh-oh.
And then Chris Long, who is hosting a book study that I'm going to be part of, Malcolm Gladwell's book, David and Goliath.
Nice,
then,
I just heard that one.
Yeah, Dennis Grice. Did David Terrio bring up Dennis Grice?
He did, and you know what? Yeah. Dennis Grice is still. I was just actually looking at that Dennis Grice's Twitter feed today, and I think he's still under 2,000 followers. Which
no way.
It's a good. Yeah, I think he's very close, but it's almost like when we had our Techlandia tally to get Allison over 2,000. Was it 2,000, Allison, that we had to get you over so you could follow people? But yeah, I mean, you should follow Dennis Grice on the Twitters. I'd hate to think he doesn't have his Twitter freedom to follow whomever he chooses.
Sounds like net neutrality. I don't
know. Net neutrality.
He's almost there. 20. He just needs 21 more followers.
Okay. And Allison can sympathize because she went through that whole thing. Bill, will you tell us a little bit about your affiliation with the Infinite Thinking Machine, and if they are creating more of that? I like to think of the Infinite Thinking Machine as more of the video podcast. I mean, that's basically what it is, because they have done it in San Francisco at that little design school. But tell us a little bit about your affiliation with them.
Yeah, so this season I actually, I don't even know when the season started, but it's kind of like starting now, even though it's supposed to be wrapping up now and going through in the fall. I'm going to be producing 5 different episodes for them.
Cool.
So the first one that we just did with our new co-host, Michelle Cordy, on the
Get
Twitter.
out of here. Are you serious?
I'm totally serious. She's
We
awesome.
know her.
I know.
She's
She's
awesome.
majorly talented, physically gifted. She passed the was it the Feats of Strength contest at the end of IPDX 14?
That's
She's a
right.
real.
That's right. And she did the Tough Mudder too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she doesn't mess around.
No.
I'm writing the shows down in Southern California, and then through Google Documents, sending them to her, and then she's recording them up in the Canada, and and it goes all around the universe, and then ends up in Northern California. Same producer up in NorCal, and so our first episode about mystery location calls is coming out in the next week or so. So
Cool.
super excited about that. But this is one of those things that I didn't really realize. Like I was just like, oh yeah, this is one of those huge things, and it turns out it's not. Like just Q sponsors it, a few other people sponsor it. So if you have not taken the time to check out Infinite Thinking Machine, it's good stuff. It's one of those, especially the more recent episodes. You watch an episode, it's about 5 minutes long, and you can actually use stuff in your classroom the next day. It's really good stuff, and it's infinitethinking.org. So I'm totally biased at this point, but I think I just liked it and was tweeting out all their stuff. And like, hey, you should help us out if you like us. So I was like, okay.
It's cool. And so, is Ramsey still doing any, or is it just all Michelle? Ramsey's still on there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ramsey's still doing shows for sure.
I think he's really funny at that.
Yeah,
I don't know
awesome.
Ramsey. I've talked to him like about 5 sentences and seen him a couple times, but I watched that and I think he's great at it. So
yeah, Ramsey's awesome. He's one of my heroes.
Who is Chris Walsh still involved with it?
He is. So he has his new startup Zaption with the interactive YouTube videos, but he's executive producer now.
Okay.
So he went from being like a host to producer. Now he's executive producer.
When you did that your Click on Me aha parody, did you go over and did you use Zaption as part of your presentation at all? Was that part of it?
Yeah,
okay.
That's at the end. So yeah, interactive slides. We do like YouTube annotations as most of the presentation. And actually, David Terrio was in the audience at Chris Long's HB Tech Fest.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing like nesting dolls of edgy rock stars here, and did all that in YouTube annotations. And then after that, we finished. And we're like, oh cool, all right, we made one. And by the way, there's Zaption, and it's awesome. And here's why I need to check out Zaption, because it does all of this like way cooler and automatically for you.
That is cool. All right, so that's pretty awesome. All right, so you're I would like, if you get a chance and it comes up in the future, if there's ever a time when you need like a 1-minute kind of doofus-like guy to do like a Solange Knowles Yo Gabba Gabba cameo, iPad Sammy is ready to be on Infinite Thinking Machine. Just so you know.
Perfect.
That if you need that,
awesome.
If you need that doofus to come in real quick and go, I like those. I'm glad they're starting back up with it. I'm glad Michelle's involved.
Yeah.
Michelle is. I wonder if she's going to do the Ignite talk this year again. I haven't paid much attention. If you are going to ISTE, and I know you are, Bill, correct?
I are.
And so you are like royals at the ISTE conference. In fact, when you come into the registration area, they might even play royals for you as you enter. But
I'm going to assume so.
If they didn't, they should start doing that. In fact, ISTE, there's my first suggestion to you. What would you give as some suggestions, since this would probably be some of our last times to give advice to people going to Atlanta? What are some of your tips and tricks for the ISTE conference?
So the first one is make sure you have a backup battery, something for your phone, because it is going to die at ISTE.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. It seems like the days are just longer than any other conference. And short of that, don't be afraid to not go to every session.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found the place that feels most like home is the Bloggers Cafe. So if you don't know where to go to the Bloggers Cafe. It seems like if you don't know people and you want to know people, you can just walk up to any random person at Bloggers Cafe and say, hi, my name is Bill, only you probably want to say your own name. And and just start up a conversation. So I think that's been the thing that's been the best use of my time, is just making those connections. And you're like, oh, sir, you speak of Zaption. What is Zaption?
Right,
And
Right.
it's not like some random session where someone's like, hey, Zaption's awesome. You're like, hey, I started Zaption. And then, they're just, super cool people tend to
Yeah.
be there. So
So you're saying that because you heard at San Antonio ISTE. I think I'm busted, Allison. I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Bill," and then they'd be like, "Bill Selak, the ISTE emerging leader," and I'm like, "Yes,
Totally.
that's me."
Yes. I'm
Then I
absolutely emerging right now.
like, "Yes, that's me. Yeah, of course. Who else would I be?" Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, I think that's good. I remember when I used to go to every session to session to session, it just gets to be too much, and that's one of the things. And I think that they're I don't know if I saw a tweet where they said they're making a few more lounges this time. Did you hear anything about that at all, or no?
I did not at all. I can't
Okay.
help you with that.
Okay, all right. I mean, they had I remember San Antonio, Allison. Didn't they have the newbie lounge as well?
Yeah, and that was pretty crowded all the time.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think it would be cool if they made some more spaces, and I think maybe they're going to do that. So, Bill, will you report back to me on the Voxer if you see some new spaces?
That I will do.
Okay, that's good. Or, as the Dixie Chicks say, some wide open spaces.
They should have, they have the bloggers cafe. They should have a Twitter cafe. Just
Twitter
where you
cafe?
go to
The Twitter's Cafe?
tweet.
Twitter? No.
Yeah.
And, I do want to point out that was the first and last time we'll ever reference the Dixie Chicks on Techlandia Cast.
Yes. Unless we get my wife actually on the show at some point, the Dixie Chicks' biggest fan. So there you go.
That would be
Let's think of this. Okay, so Bill, this is a good way to finish. I've been watching this show, and I'd heard about it, and I'd seen some clips on the YouTube, as as the Twitters tends to share some of those videos. Have you seen this show that's called like Sing Like a Face Off or something? Sing Your Face Off. And I just so I was flipping in between the hockey game tonight, go Canada, and I saw Lisa Rinna from Melrose Place dressed up like Justin Bieber singing Baby. Have you seen where? And then Bret Michaels was dressed like Freddie Mercury, and then he would do Queen. So it's celebrities dressing like other singing celebrities, and they have a contest and they vote you off the island. Has anybody seen the show?
No, that sounds like everything is terrible with music.
I agree.
It was just
watch that. Oh God! If you had said yes, I would have had to divorced you.
You
would have taken him off Mount Rushmore.
Yes, he would have been chiseled off Mount Rushmore to replaced by
It was one of those things where I was just clicking it, and then I'm like, wait, here's the show, and I'm like, who's impersonating Bieber? And then it was Lisa Rinna.
John, pick up a book. Don't watch that if it's that bad.
It was in intermission of the hockey game. I was watching the hockey game.
Okay,
I'm a sports fan.
All right, that's forgivable.
Okay.
So
no, it's not. That's not forgivable. No.
All right.
I promise you, if you guys were clicking channels and then you saw somebody impersonating Justin Bieber and you knew it was a celebrity, you would stop and watch and try and see who it was. And I think appropriately enough, it was like 50-year-old Lisa Rinna, and she did a better job than Justin, I think.
All right, so we have the Kings and somebody else. I don't even know who's playing.
Rangers.
Who won tonight?
Well, I don't know. It was in double overtime when we came on. Yeah,
go! Yeah, those guys.
Kurt wants to root for whoever's winning.
I'm sure it was a tall, probably a white guy, who, yeah, with
who scored the goal.
Yeah,
I can tell you. I looked it up on the Googles.
Okay, who then?
Are we gonna spoil it?
No, go ahead, spoil it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, the Kings won.
Okay.
Good job.
Scott Bedley will be happy. I'm rooting for the Kings.
Well, aren't you, Bill?
Sure. I
Yeah.
care.
He has no skin in the game. None at all.
No.
Bill, are you so let's put a nice little bow on it. All right, so my Justin Bieber, Lisa Rinna impersonation didn't put a nice bow on it. So are you presenting at ISTE this year?
I am. I have 5 workshops.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Okay, so to give us the lowdown so that we can, if people want to find you at ISTE, they can find, are they the paid workshops?
They are, yeah.
Okay, all right. So people get on that because they've all been accepted and ready to go. So, but you can still sign up for them all the way until the conference, correct?
You can, yeah. I think only a couple of them are sold out. So
okay.
yeah, I'm a paid date this year.
Okay, so tell us, what are your sessions then?
The one I'm most excited about kicking off, I think it's on a Thursday, is EduTogs, so Edu Photography. That's
Nice.
with Nicole DeLassio, Magrella Canella, and actually who we referenced earlier, Stephen
Yes.
Davis, Rush the Iceberg.
Wow.
Doing a garage band one with the Alice Keeler, and then a songwriting one where we're actually going to just write a song together. No idea what it's going to be about, but we're going to just write a song in the workshop, kind of what I walked you guys through, that
Nice.
workflow, and then they're going to go and make their own song.
Nice.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I wish I was going to ISTE.
Yeah, it's going to
So
be
I
fun.
could do that.
I don't know. It just sounds like a lot of fun. Those sound like great workshops. It's like
That's the plan.
I think that's why I like the California EdChat people, the CA EdChat people. They get together and they do some nice they're like let's team up and let's do this, and they all share the spotlight a little bit and give good presentations and play to their strengths. That's what I noticed the most about the Q conference. I think I really like the teamwork going on. So keep it up, California. Keep it up, Bill.
Awesome.
Yes,
Oh,
and Nicole is incredibly talented. But just with her photography skills, someday, John, can we have her on Techlandia?
Yeah, actually, she was saying that she wanted to be on while Kurt over the summer while Kurt was on vacation. So we'll see. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually,
yeah. But once I'm done with rehab, I'll be ready to go back. Totally ready.
That could be a song parody right there. What can we do for rehab? To Amy Winehouse rehab. That would be a good song. We'd have to think about what.
I think Amy actually died the last time I was in Europe. So.
Oh no.
Not to make light of that. Sorry, that was horrible. But,
Kurt. All right. So anyway, I think that we will get Nicole on the show. She's actually been asked and accepted. We just are, we're missing our Kurt. Kurt, we're gonna miss you. We might have some shows without you, Kurt. Are you okay with that?
Go for it. Yep. Bill can be my replacement, or Scott Bedley, one of those guys.
Okay, well, we'll see. Well, Bill is like, I'm never coming back here. Those guys, all they did was jump in and talk over the top of me the whole time.
Yeah, that's totally what I was thinking.
Bill, thank you so much for being on here. We really appreciate you being on here, and we would love to have you on again. As you go on, keep going. I think that I'm going to listen to Little Bird. I think you might have an interesting story coming up that down the line, later on in the year, that might be an interesting story to revisit.
Could be fun.
With the learning journey of Bill Selak. So stay tuned, Techlandia people, all 5 of you. We'll have that one on later. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Allison, do you have any last words?
Nope. Craig, thanks for listening. That's going to be my new last words every time. Craig, again, thanks for listening.
All right, and we'll catch you on the flip side.